Hi, everybody, and welcome to Teaching Tip Tuesday, brought to you by the Center for Inclusive Teaching and Learning here at UWSP. The mental health crisis in higher education has received a lot of press over the past couple of years. Students are struggling in a lot of different ways, and it's easy as an educator to feel out of your depth. Most of us aren't therapists and don't have much training in student psychological well-being. What do we know about how to help our students? That's why this week I'd like to talk to you about the intersection between psychology and pedagogy. That's right, social and emotional learning. Part of the problem we're facing is that academic success requires emotional and social skills, not just discipline-specific knowledge. To be successful, students need to be able to form positive relationships and have respectful interactions with you and their peers. They also need to set goals, receive and use feedback, deal with setbacks, and adapt what they're doing based on their performance. All of this requires a lot of emotional and social maturity. Unsurprisingly, the normal development of many of these skills was interrupted by the pandemic and the lockdowns that lasted for the better part of a year, followed by continued social distancing. Kids everywhere missed out on some of the formative interactions that normally lead to the development of emotional and social skills. There's an even longer-standing disruption that has been caused by social media use. Young people today have engaged in fewer face-to-face interactions than folks from my generation, and even teens often unknowingly find themselves in online echo chambers that prevent them from learning how to engage with people who are different from themselves. The high prevalence of mental health struggles in children and young adults tells us that something is amiss as a result of the seismic shifts that have occurred in our socialization processes. By paying some attention to the social and emotional development of our students and recognizing that they may not be at the level that our prior experiences have led us to expect, we can help them to make up some of the lost ground. To do that, I'd like to talk about the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL. This is a nonprofit organization of social and emotional learning proponents that has put forth a plan for educating the whole child. Note that I said child because, yes, their work is geared toward the K-12 system. But keep in mind that if our students are lagging behind our expectations on the social and emotional learning front, they may need a little bit of remediation to get up to speed. The CASEL plan for education stresses developing healthy personal relationships, treating others with respect and dignity, developing cognitive capacity to solve problems and think creatively, succeeding in post-secondary education and the labor market, and being a contributing citizen in a democracy. These all seem like great goals that line up well with what we want for college students. Research has shown that integration into the K-12 platform results in improved student relationships, reduced emotional distress, increased academic engagement and accomplishment, and interestingly, these effects are long-term and have been shown across all demographic categories of race, age, ethnicity, income, and gender. So sign me up. Here are some ways that you can incorporate their ideas into your teaching and hopefully see some of the same benefits for our students. First, you should teach your students to set SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You can begin by asking students to reflect on the following questions. Ask them what they want to accomplish in a particular course or module. This is just good teaching all the way around. By setting individualized goals, you engage your students in determining their own direction. This autonomy is excellent practice for facilitating engagement. Get your students to define what success would look like. Again, excellent teaching praxis. Normally, we tell students what success would look like because the goals we've set are our goals. However, for self-set student goals, being able to define how you know if you've accomplished your goal is vital to mature planning and processing. Have your students specify how they can reach their goal. Formulating a plan to get from point A to point B puts students in command of their own learning. Ask them what their motivation to work toward their goal is. It may be related to their future career or intrinsic interests. It doesn't matter what motivates the student toward the learning goal, so long as they are aware of their motivation. Finally, ask them how their core values and identity motivate them to work toward their goal. These are both great ways to explore and reflect on some of those intrinsic motivators. After setting SMART goals, it's useful to discuss them within the larger class. When stated publicly and connected to the broader course goals, learners have been shown to work toward those goals with more intention and consistency, and that's exactly what we want to see in our students. Another thing you can do is teach students necessary self-regulation skills to reach their goals. Consider specific attention to the student's emotional states. There are a lot of ways you can do this. Pair students and have them use a mood meter to assess their current emotional state. Hokey, but useful. How much learning happens when we're crabby, or sad, or hungry? Making this transparent through exploration of the topic will help students to develop the skills to recognize their moods and their moods' effects on their learning. The social nature of the activity helps to build those social skills that are necessary for success. Having partners summarize each other's responses is a great exercise in listening to and understanding others. Sharing moods with the class through polls or word clouds can help to facilitate belonging by showing a commonality of experience, and frankly, it's just fun. As part of these exercises, you can facilitate discussion of strategies to manage mood, as well as point out campus resources that are available for those who are in distress. Here, students are developing a toolkit for dealing with the trials and tribulations of college life. Construct a shared strategy bank for self-management using ongoing discussion boards and prompts like, what was the last time you found yourself slowing down or stopping in your progress, and what was happening when this occurred? Ask them what they did when they noticed that their progress wasn't what they wanted, and what was the result of the thing that they did. Ask them how they might address a similar situation in the future based on their previous experiences, and ask them what the next steps they might take are. Discussions like these can be very useful in helping students to develop skills at managing setbacks so that they can make progress in spite of the tribulations of life. They can also normalize some of the challenges that college students face by showing them that their peers are experiencing similar setbacks. Although no one instructor can end the mental health crisis in higher education, integrating social and emotional learning into your classes may help to improve your students' engagement and coping skills. And that's this week's teaching tip, brought to you by the Center for Inclusive Teaching and Learning here at UWSP. Your one-stop shop for teaching support. Visit our website to schedule a consultation for help with course design, learning activities, assessment, or pedagogy.